The people here are amazing. They know how to make the most out of life.
But you also play the harp.
The goal of it is to make the smallest, cheapest, most sensitive hydrogen gas sensor available in the world right now.
Okay. Oh, that's so beautiful.
And I wouldn't be who I am without her.
Hello friends, welcome to another episode of the podcast. Today we're going to be talking with Leila Hudson. Leila, thank you very much for coming here.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, Leila is a PhD student in ECS, Electrical Engineering and Computer Science, here at MIT. So today we're going to be talking with her and asking some questions. So why don't we first start with a bit of background? Where did you do your undergrad? What kind of research did you do there?
Yeah, so I was at Princeton for undergrad. I started in 2020, so in the COVID pandemic, but it was a great experience, made amazing friends. I was electrical engineering from the beginning. Initially, I was interested in neurotechnology, using brain-computer interfaces. I ended up making a club for that and started making a startup. And then eventually the startup turned into not using neurotech anymore because it wasn't scalable, so I just used more tech-based. The startup was like an ed tech startup, trying to teach younger kids how to write without using things like ChatGPT, and connect it to the Google Doc, and help them along during the writing process. But then eventually I wasn't okay with the ethical concerns of neurotech. I wanted to go into industry, and I knew there were really cool invasive things to do in the medical space, but I wanted non-invasive things available to consumers on a wide scale. And a lot of things weren't going to be FDA approved, and the public wasn't very okay with it immediately. It would take some time. So eventually I was like, okay, I'm going to shift. But I was always in electrical engineering, but I always liked neuroscience, and I wanted to be a neurosurgeon initially, but my hands shake when I get nervous. So I was like, and I didn't want to go into medical school for that long. It's like the longest you could go for medical school, like after the residency and everything. But I always wanted to do neuro-related things. And I did electrical engineering because you can even model a neuron based on an electrical circuit. So that's why I was in neurotech initially. But after neurotech, I still wanted to do something neuroscience related with electrical engineering. So I found a lab at Princeton that does work on making photonic spiking neurons. Like the same equations that describe how a neuron spikes are the same equations how a laser spikes. So the lab was basically trying to make these neural networks that like on software, but physical neural networks, and really making it like how the brain works, making it spike like our neurons spike. So that's how I got into photonics, which is the area that I do within electrical engineering. And then I continued doing research in that for my last 2 years at Princeton. The first thing I did was more on the math side, doing kernel decomposition for using photonics hardware for convolutional neural networks. And then I shifted into more hardware side, where I integrated photonic chip, which is like a chip that uses light, with an FPGA, electrical signals, for something called blind source separation, which basically separates source signals that you don't know about from this mixture of other signals, and it's used in government applications mostly. And then I did some pulse shaping for optimizing communications and minimizing interference for things like that. And then I culminated by doing a thesis with Caltech on flattening power spectrums for laser frequency cones, which is a technology in photonics, but it's basically calibrating it by flattening it, calibrating it for spectrographs to detect exoplanets, which are planets outside of our solar system. So yeah, I think I got a good experience in photonics. It was teaching me the fundamentals of electrical engineering before that as well. Yeah, great place to have research experience. Very solid classwork as well, but also great time with friends, great parties, great campus. I loved my time there, yeah.
That's nice. So that's where you started with photonics, you fell in love with that, and now you're also doing photonics here at MIT.
Yes.
So that's how we know each other. We are in ECS together, doing different research, but same cohort. So do you want to share your research here, what you're doing with photonics specifically?
Yeah. So I'm currently working on a hydrogen sensor. using photonics. So it's like an integrated photonic chip. So it's really small, as small as your fingernail. The goal of it is to make the smallest, cheapest, most sensitive hydrogen gas sensor available in the world right now. The current ones that do exist, because you're using light, you need some sort of light source. And all of them have this external big laser light source. So it's big and it's expensive. And they are quite sensitive, but we just want everything on chip. So we're having like an on-chip light source. And we're having our sensing mechanism there as well, and our like measurement system all on the same chip. And yeah, and hydrogen gas is what we're sensing, and that's important because it's odorless and flammable.
So it's pretty important to
it's
detect
very
that.
important, like safety-wise. It's like a safety detection mechanism, and we want to use hydrogen because it's also a high energy carrier. So it can be used for energy applications, clean energy. So that's what I'm currently working on.
Yes,
It's
and how is it
cool.
doing research here compared to
It's
Princeton? Is
great.
it nice?
Princeton, I did a bit of hardware work, but even like the kernel decomposition was all math. The FPGA photonic chip was a little hardware. I learned how to make an FPGA. I integrated it a bit, but like not that much hardware, honestly. And then pulse shaping also was like all signal processing, basically, algorithms. And the thesis was with Caltech. I was working with their hardware remotely, but I was working on control algorithms, also all code. So I understood how photonics hardware worked really well, and like understood the physics behind it in classes. I think Princeton has a very good way of teaching theoretical, fundamental things. But since I got to MIT, it's like everything that I've wanted about doing hardware. I'm in the lab most of the day. I'm learning how to use the clean room here as well. I'm fabricating my own chips now. So it's really cool, like getting my hands dirty. I feel like an electrical engineer now.
Yeah. Yes.
So I would say that's the biggest thing that I felt from MIT. My advisor is amazing, super supportive, always around. My group is a good size. They're also very supportive. I couldn't ask for more. I'm very happy. Yeah.
That's very nice to hear. So yeah, we're in Boston. So how do you see the photonics industry here in Boston?
So I think it's really, really great. There's MIT, there's Harvard, Northeastern, BU. All of these universities have startups that come out of them, like spin-offs. My advisor has made a company, for example. And so it's, in that regard, industry is really good. And with photonics specifically, it's like cutting edge research. So if that turns into a company, that's great. There's a company that I follow here that is very interesting to me. It's called Light Matter. And it's actually related to what I want to do. So the hydrogen sensing project is for my master's, and then I eventually will shift to something different for my PhD. And I'd like to do more on-chip light sources and scalable AI, ML interconnects. And Light Matter does that. So it's basically whatever we're using right now to make data centers is using electrical signals, copper wires, and that's just not scalable. It's really slow. So they're basically using photons, optical signals to connect these data centers. And it's way faster, less power and heat, more bandwidth, and it's the way to make efficient AI. And everyone's using ChatGPT, large vision models, real-time robotics. Everyone's working on the software a lot, but I want to work on the hardware to enable that in the first place. We can't just keep working on the software and just expect the current hardware to keep working for it. So I think that's a really important area right now. It's going to just keep growing as these models keep growing. So that's one example. There are many other startups as well. I think it's a very good space. I think if I were to stay anywhere after PhD, it would preferably be Boston because there's lots of startups here. Lots of lab spaces as well. I would love to go to New York just because it's a great city, but it's hard to actually get lab spaces there.
Yeah, I feel like also in
biotech,
there's a lot of industry and startups here, so it's a nice place to be, for sure. So you talk a bit of like your next years in PhD, but how do you see these years? Like you just were done with your first year. Congratulations.
You too.
So how do you see the rest of the years here?
The next coming year, I'll be continuing working on my master's, so I hope to be done with that next May. Then next summer, I have an internship in quantum communication. I was interested in it for a bit. I'm going to maybe try to shift it into a different type of communication because like the AI, ML interconnects, that is a sort of communication. But nonetheless, I'll be in Japan next summer working for NEC Corporation. So that'll be like a nice in-between finishing my master's and starting PhD formally. I'll be finished with my classes by then as well. And then the next years of the PhD would be working on these new ideas. I'm going to be talking to my advisor soon to solidify the ideas, but something with the scalability, I think. Yeah.
Nice. Yes. Perfect. And so we talk about MIT from the professional part. How do you see MIT from the personal part? Like, what's MIT for you?
I love it. I loved Princeton. I've made lifelong friendships there, and I was very anxious coming into MIT in Boston in general. And then I made amazing friends. I thought, oh, everyone's gonna be too nerdy. I love my work. I'm very academic, but I also am not like nerdy. I like going out, having fun. The people here are amazing. They know how to make the most out of life. We have a big friend group, both of us,
Yes.
all the same friends. Really fun to hang out with. They're always down to do things. We go dancing and go walking and running and try restaurants, go to music events. There's always something to do. So Boston's a great city that offers all of these things, but also it's the people.
Yes.
They're very caring as well. I think in undergrad, a lot of people were very preoccupied with their work. For me personally, it was like a 24/7 grind. Like I was working 8 a.m., 2 a.m. every day. And here it's like, okay, I work more of a 9 to 5 and we do something after work. And it's very nice and sustainable. And I think it's important because the PhD is longer. I think it's important to have like a very hardworking time of your life, but like if you make it too long, you will just get burnt out. So I think here it's, a very much work-life balance. People are very down to hang out all the time.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
really
very
happy here.
important. Yes, I'm also very happy here because like we of course work a lot, but then we also need to relax and think about other stuff because then you get focused on work and you don't progress as much. So we still have some years of PhD, but what would be your dream job after PhD?
I definitely want to go into industry. The dream would have a startup of my own. I did the startup in undergrad. I loved it. It taught me a lot about how startups work, raising money, talking to VCs, having a pitch deck. Like, I definitely realized I was this like CEO of that. I realized, I want to be the CTO because I don't want to be worrying about all logistics, hiring, and everything. I'd rather work on the technology more and be in charge of that. So definitely that. I'm keeping it very open now. Like, the world is changing so much every month even. So I'm not gonna say, I want to work on this for a startup yet, because by that time it'll probably be taken or it won't be an important idea. So I'm waiting as my PhD goes along, some idea comes up. I'm not sure if I would do it immediately after PhD or work somewhere a bit, gain some experience, then make the startup. Also, the biggest, important, most thing is finding the right people. So I'm hoping to do that during the PhD as well. But something like that for sure. I like that type of ownership and also genuine interest in what I'm working on. I think a lot of my friends who went into work immediately after undergrad don't like their work. They're just forced to go into this 9 to 5 job that they don't enjoy working on. And of course, it's tiring sometimes. You don't want to work. But as long as you're interested in it, you'll want to keep working in the bigger picture. So something along those lines for sure. Yeah.
Yep, same. I also want to go to industry. Would you like to be in the US or anywhere in the world?
I think I'd like to be in the US a bit after PhD, work a bit. The industry is better here. The money is a bit better here in general. But my family is in Europe and I eventually would want to be with them. So eventually move to Europe. Really don't know when. I definitely would raise my kids there, have a family there. So at that point in life, definitely. But I don't know when all of this will be. But
yeah, we'll see. And do you see yourself also working in photonics? Or you're open?
I'm open. I definitely want to work in photonics immediately after PhD. Like, I'm doing a PhD in it. I have some friends who finished their PhD in photonics and now they're in AI, which is crazy to me. So I definitely would want to do it, but also it's a lifetime. Things can change. I'm hoping to have a broad enough education in electrical engineering that I can also go in between, and computer science. Like, I have a minor from computer science too. So I'm proficient in coding. So as the world changes, I'm happy to be flexible and changing for that. So I'll just see what the world, where the world takes me.
It's also important to be open and see what the opportunities are because we never know.
Exactly. Photonics might just not be the solution at all. And then
we'll see. I hope so, but we'll see. Okay, good. So you do a lot of things, like you work a lot, and I admire you so much for that. And you also have time to spend with friends. But you also play the harp, which is incredible to me. Do you want to share?
Yeah, absolutely. I started playing when I was 8. I definitely wasn't serious until I got into high school when I then started orchestra, and I loved orchestra. So in high school, I did some orchestras in New York City, and then I was fortunate enough to get into the National Orchestra in the U.S., so I was able to play with like the best musicians all over the U.S. for 2 years. That was amazing. Made lifelong friends through that. Quality of music was amazing, like so much emotions. We were just crying during the concerts because we were feeling so much. We saw the audience crying. And yeah, a lot of those people went on to do careers in music, and I really admire those people. I was personally thinking about it, like I was studying with the Juilliard teacher in high school, and she was like, you could go to Juilliard if you wanted to. That was really hard to say no to, but it's a very risky lifestyle. And I wanted to have a family and be able to provide, and also do more techie stuff was always a little more interesting. I love practicing, I love being in the orchestra, but I don't know if I could do that all day, every day. So I went to Princeton then, started the orchestras there, played some chamber music, played some concertos, so I kept going. It was amazing too. Very good orchestra, made some good friends. We went on tour, tours always bring people way closer together. So that was great. And then once I got to Boston, I wanted to continue. So I joined the Boston Philharmonic and Boston Youth Philharmonic here. And I just came back from tour in Mexico with the Youth Philharmonic. That was amazing. So much emotion as well. Very high quality music. Most of the musicians are like at the conservatories. So it was very interesting being with people who do music full time as well. It brought me back to that time.
How was the trip?
It was amazing. It was my first time in Mexico. We went all over the country. So saw the ruins, saw the beaches, saw Mexico City. And the concert halls were amazing. I have so much respect for my conductor. And the fellow musicians were amazing. Made really good friends. Very, very grateful. I'm most likely going to be going on tour next summer as well in Asia.
Wow.
So that will also be very exciting. So I'm very, very excited. I'm very grateful that like I'm able to play with them.
Yeah, that's very nice. So I guess it's a nice also way to disconnect and have time for you, right?
It is, I have to say, a little difficult sometimes working all day and then knowing I need to practice. Practice takes mental effort. And sometimes I'm like, oh man. So sometimes if I really need to practice, I go early in the morning, practice first, then go do research. So it's definitely hard to balance sometimes. But when it's like purely for enjoyment, I'm not stressed about having to perform for something, it's really nice to go to. It's mental effort, but it's still a different type of mental effort. It's really nice, yeah. And I definitely am a very social person and extroverted, but I really like just going to the practice room, being alone, being with my own.
Your time for you.
Exactly.
Quiet,
exactly.
That's very nice.
Yeah.
We should do a duo.
Yes, so down. And your friend Carmela as well. We can do like a trio. I would love to. That's the thing I haven't done in Boston yet. Chamber music I haven't done.
Yeah, I've only done once, so I don't know how.
I've also not done very often. Because harp is not in many repertoire, honestly. So I would be happy to.
I'm sure we'll find something. That's very fun. Yeah. Okay, so one more question that I ask sometimes to people is like, do you have anyone that you look up to?
Oh, yes, that's easy. My mom. I love my mom. Yeah, she's, I would say, very accomplished in all aspects of life. So I think it's very important. Like, I respect also friends that are extremely accomplished in everything. As in, like, she had her whole work career. She has a happy marriage. She has kids. She has family. But she's also extremely caring, extremely thoughtful, like, always puts other people first, which is, like, not in all cases that's great. Sometimes she's, like, too selfless. But so much respect for her. So both my parents worked in the UN, and they met there. But she actually didn't feel like her work was making that much of a difference, because the UN, there's lots of bureaucracy and time and money being wasted. So she just went off on her own and made an NGO. And she was basically increasing computer access for women in the Middle East, which is like amazing to me. And then she was working there for a bit while she had me even, and then at one point she was like, okay, this is too much, because my dad was also working. It was basically every week one parent was traveling and the other parent was gone and one was there. So she was just like, okay, this is too much. And just started raising my mom, my dad, my brother and I. An incredible mother. Like, she just put a lot of her time bringing me to orchestra and sports, and like, I wouldn't be who I am without her. And she's extremely strict as well, and that's also why I am who I am. I think that's very important. I think I will raise my kids very similar to how she raised hers because I see that it works. So yeah, easy answer. My mom for sure.
Okay, yeah, I love the relationship you have with her. It's very nice. Yeah, I don't know, like even though you like live apart, you
It's
always
definitely
talk with her
hard.
and you stay in touch with her.
Yeah, since my family moved to
very
Austria about 4 years ago now, and it's definitely harder. But yeah, we definitely talk a lot, and now they're here for a while, so I'm excited to spend some time with them.
Yes.
And I go home every 6 months or so, so I see them often enough. I'm very close with my family, so it's very important to me. Yeah.
That's very good. Yes. Okay, so thank you very much for sharing. That was beautiful words. Okay, so now I have like a little section where I'm going to ask you just some questions, and you need to answer with a few words.
Okay.
Okay, are you ready for it?
Sure.
Okay. What's your favorite music composer?
Like classical music?
Yep.
Sibelius.
Okay. What artist would you like to see in concert?
Well, I've already seen them. Or someone that I haven't seen at all yet. Oh, Swedish House Mafia.
All right. What is happiness for you?
I think it's like waking up every day and being content with who you are, what your status is in life, what you're doing that day, like who you're spending time with. Every day being like, not, I mean, every day you can't be like happy, but like in the big picture, yeah, that you're very content with how your life is.
Okay, and another one, what's friendship for you?
Someone you can count on. Like someone that notices if you're not okay and like asks how you are. If you're gone for a while, asking how you are. Oh, like everyone's busy, but like they make time for you no matter what. And yeah, just genuine care. Yeah.
Be there in the good and bad moments.
Exactly. In all moments. If they're there for you, you know they're the real ones. Yeah.
Okay. And last one, what's the favorite moment that we have together?
Oh, that's hard. There's many moments. I don't know. I liked your graduation party a lot. It was very nice meeting your mom. And it was just like the whole gang was there. It was very sweet, very wholesome.
Yeah, that was also
really
one of my
nice.
favorite
And like seeing
moments.
her graduation was very, very nice. It was really cool. Congratulations.
Thank you.
She already has her master's.
Yeah, that day was very good, very good. Like all my friends over there.
I bet,
and my
yeah.
mom, yeah. Yes. Okay. Oh, that's so beautiful. Okay, so here it ends. The podcast ends. Thank you very much for sharing your both education, research, but also personal things with us. I really appreciate it. And yeah, that's everything for now. Thank you very much for coming here.
Thank you for having me.
Bye bye. Thank you for listening.